What is good, YouTube? Welcome back for another banger. On this channel we discuss everything cryptocurrency and investing. Without further ado, let's jump into the video. Grayscale now holds over 3% of Bitcoin in circulation, guys. Over 3% of all Bitcoin in circulation. In case you don't know, Grayscale are the largest Bitcoin trust on the planet, with just under $28 billion in assets managed. So they buy up the Bitcoin, and their institutional clients, hedge funds, they come to them and buy shares to give them exposure to Bitcoin. The CEO said, we started to see the participation, not just from hedge fund segment, which we've long seen participation from, but now it's recently from other institutions, pensions and endowments. If you're new to the cryptocurrency space, guys, this is something that's been going on in the background for a very long time. You've got institutions like Harvard, Yale and Stanford who've been investing via their endowment funds in cryptocurrencies and cryptocurrency funds, hedge funds, for a long time now. These articles date back from 2018. Pay attention to the smart money in the space and don't get left behind. I'm getting texts from friends saying invest in Noah coin, invest in this coin, that coin, PSG coin, Paris Hilton coin, and everyone's trying to make gains, but follow where the smart money is going, guys. We're definitely going to see more of this as the Fed and banks around the world continue to print more and more. The Biden administration has already committed to pump an additional 6 to 7 trillion into the economy. So we're only going to see more and more firms come into the space, more pension funds come into the space, and more retail. Institutional demand is at an all-time high, guys. We never had this in 2017. That was all retail investors, but now it's institutional investors driving the game, trying to hedge against inflation, also trying to get further exposure to the best performing asset class in their portfolio. As you can see, on Tuesday, Coinbase published a study that detailed how the company helped One River asset management firm make one of the largest digital asset trades in history. One of the biggest ever purchases of Bitcoin in history was done on Coinbase on Tuesday, guys. And not long before that, Microstrategy purchased over $600 million worth of Bitcoin, and that was with Coinbase. So I can only imagine that this is much greater. It's still extremely early, guys. If you own 0.28% of a Bitcoin, you are statistically guaranteed to be in the richest 1% in terms of BTC. So in terms of BTC holders in the world, if you own 0.28% of a Bitcoin, guys, because there's only ever going to be between 5 to 10 million people who ever own a full Bitcoin, between all the whales, the hodlers, institutional investors, sovereign nations who are purchasing Bitcoin, there isn't that much left, and being an actual whole coiner would actually be a very rare thing indeed. This chart pulled together by Unchained Capital depicts the adoption curve. So it's an illustration of supply versus demand, and we're around here in this adoption curve in 2021. It's estimated that there's around 100 million Bitcoin users at this current moment in time. And as we move into 2030, it's estimated there'll be around 1 billion users of cryptocurrency. And at that time, we would have mined around 20.6 million Bitcoin. There'll be around 20.6 million Bitcoin in circulation. If you move down and you actually see the average Bitcoin per user, in 2020, the average Bitcoin in circulation divided by the adoption is 0.2. By 2030, the average holding per user compared to the average Bitcoin in circulation will be 0.02. And hence, having 0.28 Bitcoin, so essentially a third of a Bitcoin, would put you in the number 1% in terms of Bitcoin wealth. And I genuinely believe that Bitcoin is going to go past 100,000, 150,000, 400,000, 500,000, and I believe it will be the reserve currency of the world, guys. So be careful where you're putting your money. A lot of friends are telling me about Noah coin, this coin, that coin, get into this coin. It's very tempting, and there's a lot of people coming into the space to get rich quick. That's not the game here. This is a long-term game. This is a long-term hedge. And I believe via cryptocurrency, a lot of us will become very, very wealthy. So just watch where the money is going, guys. The money is flowing into Bitcoin and a few other alternate cryptocurrency platforms like Ethereum. But yeah, just watch where the money is going, guys. When whales are out there accumulating Bitcoin, doing their best to drive prices down. The number of addresses holding over 1,000 Bitcoin, 1,000 Bitcoin, guys, has reached an all-time high. 2,334 addresses are currently holding more than 1,000 Bitcoin. This is a gain of more than 30% compared to 2017, guys. Institutions, hedge funds, firms, nations are accumulating Bitcoin in mass. I implore you not to stand on the sidelines. Get your head in the game. For those who are new to the cryptocurrency space, it's the same institutions who said Bitcoin was a fraud, Bitcoin was a scam, are the institutions getting into crypto now.
I could care less about Bitcoin. I don't know why I said anything about it. The blockchain is a technology, which is a good technology. We actually use it. It will be used for a lot of different things. God bless the blockchain. Euro, yen, they're all fine. I don't personally understand the value of something that has no actual value. You all can do whatever you want, and I don't care. Okay?
Bitcoin hit a new high today.
I could care less what Bitcoin trades for, how it trades, why it trades, who trades it. If you're stupid enough to buy it, you'll pay the price for it one day.
For those who don't know, that was Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan back in 2017. The same JP Morgan now banks Coinbase, Gemini, some of the biggest cryptocurrency exchanges in the world. The same JP Morgan is saying Bitcoin could rise to $146,000 as it competes with gold. And it's the same JP Morgan who are looking into becoming cryptocurrency custodians. So watch the trend, guys. Watch where the money's moving. The institutional investors, the whales, I'm going to keep banging on and saying this. The whales are scooping up all of the Bitcoin. The whales are scooping up all of the Bitcoin. Let's hear what Bill Miller, a legendary investor, has to say about Bitcoin.
In early November, you were on this program. We talked about a number of different things that day. I asked you about Bitcoin because I know you've been a bull on it for some time. But at the end of the interview, and this was when Bitcoin was just under $15,000, I think, I said to you, of all of the things we've discussed, what are you most excited about? Or is there an emerging technology that you're excited about? And you said, I'm most excited about Bitcoin. Are you as excited today, Bill, with it at 41,000 as you were when it was under 15?
Oh, absolutely. One of the things that's interesting about Bitcoin is that it gets less risky the higher it goes. So that's the opposite of what happens with most stocks. But because Bitcoin is so early in the adoption cycle, and you can't, even though the OCC will allow all the big banks and investment banks to custody or to buy and sell Bitcoin, you can't do that at any of them. So they're permitted to, but they haven't done it yet because basically I think they're concerned. But every day, Bitcoin's a supply-demand story. There's 900 new Bitcoins created every day. It's estimated that PayPal and Square alone their customers are buying all of those. And Bitcoin's total supply is growing less than 2% a year. And it's obvious by the price that the demand is growing much, much faster than that. So as long as that obtains, Bitcoin is likely to go higher and perhaps considerably higher.
So there you hear it, guys, from Bill Miller, legendary investor. He's a lot smarter than I am. And keeping in with the theme of institutions loving Bitcoin, Morgan Stanley now boasts over a 10% stake in Microstrategy. For those who don't know, Microstrategy have now purchased over $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. They put their treasury into Bitcoin a couple of months ago, but just over 400 million, and a couple of weeks ago, just before Christmas, raised over $600 million in debt to buy more Bitcoin. And Morgan Stanley now owns just under 11%. They own 792,627 shares of MicroStrategy. Having purchased over $1 billion worth of the asset, its share price is essentially mimicking the price of Bitcoin. their share price has risen from $123.80 to $539.57 to $539.57 since they began to purchase Bitcoin. So essentially, it's investors and institutions are using it as a liquid way to gain exposure to Bitcoin. So as I said, guys, please pay attention, watch where the money is going. Next up, South Korea plans to implement a 20% tax on cryptocurrency profits from 2023. So essentially, residents in South Korea will have to pay 20% tax on their crypto profits from 2023 when they make an annual income of more than 2.5 million won. So that's around $2,300. So once they make more than that in annual profits, they will start paying tax. South Korea, for those who don't know, back in 2017, 2018, they were the main drivers of the bull run. A lot of the volume on the cryptocurrency exchanges and a lot of the volume on cryptocurrency exchanges were actually coming from users in South Korea. We even had something called a kimchi premium. Essentially, that was the difference between the price on global exchanges and South Korean exchanges because cryptocurrency was so popular in South Korea. People were prepared to pay over the odds for certain cryptocurrencies. I believe XRP at one point was trading at over $3 in South Korea, but in the low $2 range on exchanges around the world. So yeah, it's quite interesting. And again, it just shows that cryptocurrency adoption is growing and it's coming from some of the, let's say, more conservative governments around the world. This follows on from the Kenyan government also laying down their task. This follows on from the Kenyan government also laying down their plans for cryptocurrency taxes. And they expect to earn around $46 million when they bring in their cryptocurrency taxation strategy into force. But they're only going to be taxing citizens 1%. But they will only be taxing citizens at a rate of 1.5%. So, yeah, maybe I should move to Kenya. 1.5% is a very, very, very attractive rate. But all this shows, guys, is governments want a piece of the pie. All this shows, guys, is governments have begun to understand that this is the new wave of investing and they want a piece of the pie. That's all it is. A lot of the regulation and then so-and-so country's going to ban crypto, so-and-so country's going to ban Bitcoin. I guess at the time they may not have understood it, but the main thing was they were trying to understand how are we going to get our piece of the pie. They figured that out and they're warming up to the idea of cryptocurrency. So pay attention, guys. Next up, Finland has decided to sell $75 million worth of seized Bitcoin. So back in 2016, from dark web operations, the Finnish customs seized 1,981 Bitcoins. And at the time of the seizure, the Bitcoins were worth 700,000 euros. Back in 2016. In today's value, is actually somewhere above $75 million. So the Finnish customs government, whoever you want to call it, have been holding on to this Bitcoin for years, hodling essentially, waiting for the right time to pull the trigger. I guess you can say that they also understand the value of cryptocurrency and they saw where the market was going, and they decided to sit on their coins because they believed in Bitcoin and wait to liquidate the coins. So and wait to liquidate that Bitcoin at a later date. They may even decide to only sell a partial amount of the Bitcoin and save the rest, because I believe I'm pretty sure there's going to come to a time where nations around the world are going to be fighting to accumulate as much Bitcoin as they can in their treasuries. We've already seen people are selling off their gold. We've already seen central banks and institutions are selling off their gold, and the price of gold is plummeting, and that money is flowing its way into Bitcoin. So I'm going to follow this story and see where it goes. I believe they won't sell the full amount, and they're definitely going to hold some. Bitcoin's at 40k. Ethereum is dancing around 1,300. XRP has finally popped up above Litecoin. ADA is doing well. Cardano, Polkadot is doing well. The market, generally speaking, is in green. Wow, Bitcoin Satoshi's vision, yeah, it's up 60% today. It's a bit fishy. Trying to keep itself in the top 10. Tron is doing well. VeChain, Uniswap. Basically, the market's in green, guys. So yeah. Well, I hope you guys like the content. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It helps push the channel out to more people, so your mum, your dad, your sister, your cousin, your uncle can see the videos as well. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out. Ciao.